I saw Hamlet on Friday.
Oh.
What?
No, that's not interesting.
Okay. I saw Hamlet on Friday, and I forgot how gay it is. Like, I always
Hamilton?
forget
I
how
love Hamilton.
gay Hamlet is. No, not Hamilton. I know that you keep confusing this with Lin-Manuel Miranda's Hamilton. No, a different.
He's great in Hamilton.
Not written by a modern dude about old dudes. Written by an old dude that translates into modern dude language. Okay, little
When
bit
you say
different.
you watched Hamilton,
Hamlet.
Do you mean like a play?
Yes.
Or that was
Hamlet.
not intentional.
Yes,
When you watched
Shakespeare's
when you watched
Hamlet.
Hamlet, which one did you watch?
So
On TV? Like a
no,
movie?
I went and saw it live, man. People still
Then
do
why did you
that.
say Jude? Why did you say Jude Law is incredible?
Oh, because I was trying to get you to watch Hamlet. I was like, Jude Law does an incredible Hamlet. I was recommending that you watch Jude Law.
Oh, I thought
do
you
Hamlet.
saw Jude Law in Hamlet.
No.
And I was like, what?
No, there was actually a very phenomenal local actress who played Hamlet. But we're missing the fact. I forgot how gay it is, okay? Because Hamlet and Ophelia have, they have some chemistry. And I've got some criticisms about their big scene because I was like, why is it? Like, first off, they had, the two actors in the biggest scene that they're supposed to have together had no available chemistry. And I don't know if it was the director or them that made this choice, but the blocking was horrible because they had their first big, we're getting into it moment. And then they just, exploded across the stage from each other and had, a proclamation. Yeah, it turned into talking heads, which it shouldn't on stage. But anyway.
I don't like that.
So
I like the band.
yeah, right. But they have, so Hamlet and Ophelia, the entire, they're like, oh, well, Hamlet might love Ophelia. We don't know. That's part of the plot is they don't know if Hamlet really loves Ophelia. Hamlet's saying that he does, but then kind of no, not really. Hey, and also get out of here. Save yourself from whatever's going to go down. I'm got to avenge daddy boy. My daddy ghost. I got to avenge my daddy ghost. Do you know
Hamlet?
Hamlet?
Kill his dad? Doesn't he kill his dad?
No, his dad shows up as a ghost. He's already dead.
Oh, wait. Yeah, he's at the wall, and there's the guards, and there's snow.
Oh, my fucking God.
And he's out there.
I'm so glad you're finally remembering Hamlet. Okay, great. But anyway, so Hamlet and Horatio
And he's
are really
Macbeth.
the love story.
Macbeth.
No. Hamlet and Horatio are the real love story of Hamlet, okay?
I love Horatio.
Let me finish this.
Horatio came from NCIS Miami.
Let me finish this.
Okay, I'll be quiet. I'm going to put the mic down for a second.
So Hamlet and Horatio have a bromance, but it's a very questionable bromance. And I tried to say to my friends, I was like, well, this was written in a time where dudes would fool around with their best friends and cousins and stuff when they were kids. Cause people just leave them fucking alone. Right. And that shit happened. They write about it now.
Because woke didn't exist, Kevin.
What?
Woke didn't exist.
Yeah, it wasn't woke. It was just
it wasn't woke back then.
Just some weird
With all the
experimentation.
gay-
Yeah, people
all
are
the
they're
gay
just
guys.
experimenting. They're just figuring it out.
It's all
But
with Sparta.
but the end of Hamlet, Horatio is doing this huge monologue, and when it first happened, Stephanie turns over to me and goes, "Is this gay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And and it kept going, and then later in the play, we get to the final monologue, and she's like, "This is really gay," and I'm like, "Yeah."
Can I tell you a secret?
What?
Can I blow your mind?
Yeah, hit me.
I played Horatio in a middle school production of Hamlet.
Did you?
Yeah, I know all
How
about
do you-
Hamlet. I was just fucking with
What?
you.
What?
You got
Did
Odie.
you actually play?
You
See,
play the theme
here's
music.
the thing. I don't believe you. I don't know which one's true. You could or not. All right. Did you? You did.
Maybe.
What's his last line?
Kane. Oh, I thought you were going to say last name.
No, what's his... No, it's not Kane. What's his last line in the play?
I don't remember. That was 20 years
It's
ago.
one of the biggest lines in the play. Everybody fucking knows it.
Ready? I'm going to drop the line, then you're going to play the theme music for real.
Hit me.
All right, so you stopped the theme music already?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's still going?
I don't know. Go.
Oh, okay. Okay, his last line is, Macbeth, Macbeth, let down your hair.
Stop it! All right, let's get into it. Yeah.
Yep.
Here we go.
Oh, I don't know how am I going to clap?
Are you ready to
How
clap?
do
You
this?
slap your face now.
Oh, I have to
Are
slap
you ready
my
to
face
clap?
now?
3, 2, 1. Yeah, you have to slap your face hard. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the
That didn't work.
UnPop podcast. Well, you didn't do it right. I am
Can you
your
do it again? Can we do it
Capitan. Yes. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the UnPop podcast. I'm your Capitan, slapping himself in the face as always. Todo es siempre. Kevin, mine, or he, him. With me, as always, also is
Odie Matthews, the chef, cooking up that delicious content. I think I'm at like 1,000 right now. I have so much energy.
I told
Say them.
Ian, because he was describing the podcast that he's on, and he's like, I'm the vibes guy, the other guy's the straight guy, right? You know, and I was like, we're just two vibes guys on our we're vibes guys, burgers and fries. You don't show up for the food we make. You show up for the level of service and care that you're given. You feel like you're really listened to, and we enjoy your presence, but that burger's questionably medium rare, maybe.
It's not the highest quality. I mean, I am a good chef, but that's,
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, you might not even get fries. You might order fries and get Cheez-Its with us. We're
I might eat 'em.
It depends on what the vibes are. It's vibes, guys, burgers, and fries. We're just vibing it out and dishing it out as we see fit.
Exactly.
Did you actually play Horatio?
Who's Horatio?
Oh my God! All right, what's the news this week? What are you talking about? Let's talk. What happened this week in the world? We have a new segment clip right here. Hold on.
Yeah, baby. It's the UnPop news coming at you fresh and hot from the command deck of the SS Marlon Brando. Let's see what this week had in store.
Okay, go.
Gene Hackman?
Yes, was hacked to death. Possibly.
No,
Oh.
I don't think he was hacked to death.
Oh, well, he died.
His body was in one piece.
Oh, okay.
But him, his wife, and his dog were all found dead in their home under suspicious circumstances. And originally, my thought was, it's probably like a gas leak. And then the next article I read was like, it wasn't a gas leak.
Oh, okay.
So it's apparently the last thing I read about it, because obviously they're not releasing a ton of information. And, they might not ever with this kind of stuff.
We got to do an investigation.
Might have been something to do with a pacemaker was found, that maybe Gene Hackman had a pacemaker. I mean, the dude was 95.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the other thing. He hasn't acted since like 2007.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a hot minute since the first.
He was
connection.
95?
Like, he was 95.
Oh, yeah. This might just be a weird case where, like, he died.
And then his wife and dog also.
Well, I would assume the
died.
dog would die if it didn't get out and get food, I guess.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. And, like, I think there was also maybe, like, a pill bottle found. Somebody I was talking to had a hypothesis that maybe Gene Hackman was, like, about to die. And so, like, it was, like, a suicide pact.
Oh, maybe.
Or something. I don't know.
Like, they all just,
But-
like, two hands in and one paw, like, all right, we go out together.
All right, guys, here we go.
That's very wholesome. That's about as
Yeah, I
wholesome
mean-
as you can make a celebrity death be, is a suicide
If
pact
they're all,
between man, woman, and dog.
if his wife was late 90s too, or mid to early 90s too, like, I mean, but
Could just
the
be
other thing that
coincidence.
the thing I actually want to talk about, because we texted about this, and if we can, let's get into this for a minute,
'Kay.
because it's hot and fresh off the grill.
Okay.
I need like a cooking sound effect.
No,
Can
you
add a
don't.
cooking sound
You don't
effect?
need any more sound
can you-
effects on this
Can
show.
you add a sound?
Nope.
So what I you sure?
I can when I want to. When I want to. Yes.
Oh, okay, fine. Fair enough. But John Lithgow is confirmed as Dumbledore. And there's two things about that. One,
Yeah.
he said, I'm going to go see a dialect coach to get the British accent down, which
Great.
that's probably a
Good
good thing to
job.
do. And two, I texted you about this, and this is what I really want to talk about. He is 79.
Yep.
And they are going to do 7 seasons, and they're going to film them all back to back so the kids age and everything.
Yeah.
Which means that if they start filming in the next year, which they're supposed to,
Yeah.
he'll be 80.
Okay.
Which means he'll be close to 90 when this is all said and done.
Yeah.
And famously, the very first Dumbledore
Yeah.
died because they cast a guy who, I need to look this up, but I'm pretty sure he was like late 70s,
Yeah.
and he didn't make it through 2 of the movies.
Okay.
So
Well,
what happens if he doesn't make it
let's-
through all the seasons?
Let's lay this out here. Okay. first season definitely need a year in between. Second season definitely need like the space. Like I'm talking about the timing. So we've got 2 years so far. Third season, third year. Fourth season, fourth year. Fifth season and sixth season can be filmed relatively closer together. Closer, not maybe, but still like, the better portion of a year, right? So we're at 5 to 6, 5 to 6 close, but then 7, because they're only doing 7.
Well, 7 books, 1 season a book is the way I understood
Okay, if they're doing 7, and even if it gets broken up, because there were, essentially there were there was like 2 parts to that, wasn't there? I don't know. Anyway, Deathly Hallows.
Okay, I might be a little
so
wrong.
Anyway, so.
Oh yeah, 2 parts to the last book.
Okay.
They did 2 parts.
Yeah. So even if they do 2 seasons, even if they do it proper 2 parts the way that they maybe should, right? Those need to be filmed completely back to back. So really what we're looking at here is probably a total commitment of about 6.5 to 7 years total for filming, right?
Yeah.
So he's 79.
79, gonna be 80 soon.
And he dies in, do you know this already? Do you know this?
Lithgow's gonna die?
Do you know? No, not John. Yes, in the show. That's actually built into his contract now. That's why he's 79. They're just like, you're gonna die in season 6, and he's like, yes, Dumbledore will die. They're like, no, you're gonna die. In
You're
season
gonna die.
6.
He's like, what do you mean? That's true. I did forget.
You signed
Dumbledore
the contract already. Yeah, so
he gets pushed out a window.
No.
Or he dies.
He's
I know
a
he dies.
wizard. Why would being pushed out a window kill him? You idiot. You play D&D. Even in D&D, you just cast Featherfall. He is a powerful wizard.
No, the guy from Die Hard who gets pushed out a window kills him.
Yes, not by pushing him out a window.
Right.
God.
Anyways, yeah,
Alan
Dumbledore
Rickman can't be in this.
Are you sure? Deepfakes are
oh
great.
my god, deepfake Alan Rickman just the entire time. That would ruin it. No one would watch it. Like everybody, I feel like it would get boycotted.
Watching anyways.
I don't know. I hope it is. Like, I think it would be fun. I would like to see a retelling of it. I'm interested. I've gone back and watched the Harry Potter movies, and I enjoyed them. So
I think
fine.
The cast is kind of what does it for me. So I looked it up. Richard Harris, he died at 72 because he got like pneumonia or something. So technically, I guess
John Lithgow's already outlived the first Dumbledore.
But at the same time, like, anything at that age is like, I mean, you're talking about 6 to 7 years of needing him in good mental and physical health.
Well, here's the thing.
Like,
he also doesn't have to do much in every
that's true
movie, right? And then like the only version of him that has to do much is if they do a flashback to his like famous duel with Grindelwald, and then even his duel with Snape. Even his duel with Snape, Dumbledore in the books isn't like deftly jumping off the walls or anything. He's casting spells. No.
Yeah.
You know what I would really like? I would like if they've just brought back Ralph Fiennes as Snape again, like just. Like just the same, like the completely different cast, but Snape, or not Snape, fucking Voldemort. Voldemort's the same. Like it's the same guy. Like he looks the same as the other series, but it's just everyone else is different.
I'd be fine with that.
That would be great. Well, the actor who played Hagrid in the original already died, right? So he passed on.
Robbie Coltrane.
We're talking about a lot of death. In this
well, I mean, that's the movie started
old actors be dying.
Yeah, they started filming in like 1999, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if you were 45 in 2000, you are now 80. Wait, did I do that math right?
You were wrong.
Yeah, you're 80.
No.
25 years plus 45, that's 80, bro.
If you were 45
in the year 2000, it's been 25
70.
years. You're now 70. That's what I said. Can you fix that in post? Make it look like I said 70? Here, 70. Can you add that where I said 80?
No.
Saying 70?
I'm gonna put the sound effect of a grill sizzling there.
Damn it.
He's cooking it up with the math.
I'm bad at that. I'm a video editor.
Okay.
What do you want from me?
Here's the other thing that, like, the other concession I want to give is, like, so Dumbledore has arguably the most to do in books 4 and 5. I know you don't know this, but I do.
I don't.
So, first movie, he's got a little bit to do, right? Hey, what's up? You're a wizard, Harry.
Sorting
Let's do the thing, right? Book 2, he's kind of there, kind of not. Like, he's not really that involved. He, like, you know, gives him advice and, like, shows up in the hospital when he's injured and shit. Because Dumbledore's just like, he's one of the most important wizards ever. I have work to do, though, so I'll see you all. Like, I'm not going to pay attention to him at all.
I learned in the Fantastic Beasts trilogy that Dumbledore's signature move is to start something and then just
go do
walk
other
away.
work. Yeah.
Just walk
and
away.
just trust it. Yeah.
He's trust the
he's
process,
very much
bro.
a roulette wheel kind of wizard. He's like, all right, and let it ride. Let's go. Like,
He's not a very good wizard, in my opinion. Hot take.
He's not a good parent. he's not a good parental figure. He's a great wizard when he needs to be. When he needs to be, he's like me. See, he's like me. When he needs to, when he wants to, he'll do it.
Turn it on.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Maybe he's just worn down, you know, by the existential crisis of living as one of the most powerful beings ever, but not even being able to show his face in the world of the humans. Who knows? That's a different type of existential crisis.
Do you think he's worn down because he had to stop Grindelwald from stopping the humans from having World War II? So basically, because of Dumbledore,
I don't think that's
going to
be canon in this. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna pretend that didn't exist.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No. So like, movie 3, once again, not too much. A little bit more. Movie 4, it's Goblet of Fire time. He's more active. There's multiple schools going on. That's probably the one that I'm the most excited to see, and I would love it if they just like had Robert Pattinson show up as like a cameo. Well, it's like a teacher from one of the other schools or something, right? Like, wouldn't that be cool?
That would be cool.
And then book 5 though, he's got a fuck ton to do. Dumbledore is in. He shows up in the beginning. He's like helping out. He's very active. He has his big fight with fucking Voldemort at the end in the wizard like
the sparkler
center
fight.
hall. Yeah. Like they're like turning shit into in the books. They're like turning shit into like flaming snakes that are gigantic and then hitting
we get
it
a better
with
fight.
Yeah, it's what it really made me think of when I was reading the book was, remember Sword in the Stone when Merlin and Madame Mim have their fight and they're just like one of them gets really big and the other one gets really small. And like they're casting spells on each other. It was kind of like that, but less transmogrifying. More just like, I've made a giant snake. All right, cool. I've made a giant eagle out of water. You know, like it was like they're having like the greatest duel, but like in a real like metaphysical modern dance way. And I hope they do dance for it. I hope they have great choreography. But then book 6. He's in but not in. He's like talking to Harry. He's like, hey, we've got this. By the way, I've had this thing the whole time where you could look back into the past and solve all the mysteries we need to solve. I know it's been literally thousands of pages of writing, but by the way, this is here. Yeah.
Irresponsible and bad wizard.
And then
Hermione has the time travel
but
thing.
then the end of it, the Death Dealers show up. They're taking the school over. Snape kills Dumbledore, right? He shows up and he's like, and then like, of course, later on it's like, oh, well, maybe he killed him so that Harry could get away. You know, like there's a whole thing about well,
I think he could have lived.
Well, there's people are like, oh, well, Dumbledore like and he were in cahoots. Like, well, people are like, Snape was the mole. It just, you'll watch the series, it'll be fine.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know.
6 years from now, when we're talking
I'll
about
watch the
death of Dumbledore. 6 years from now, when I'm 44 and you and I are talking about the death of Dumbledore on a podcast.
Can't wait to talk about this series. We should do live updates on the episodes.
I just realized how old we're gonna be. Oh my god!
Not the target demographic.
We're gonna be old
at all.
We're gonna be old. All right, so, yeah, but then he dies in season 6, and then even if there's 2 seasons after that, he's done his thing
in 7.
Yeah,
right?
and well, flashbacks, but younger him in 7 because it's
get Jude Law, man. I'm telling you.
That's what I said. I said get Jude Law, age him up. He's great. I would throw if somebody was like Jude Law's in this. I don't care if I thought it would be bad. I'm interested. Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get Dom Hemingway. Fuck yeah. Dom Hemingway's the man. I would love to see Jude Law as Dom Hemingway in almost any role because he's such a fucking nunts. Anyway,
Yeah.
cool. Well, that's good news. I mean, I think John. I think it's good.
I think we need to see more of the casting before obviously jumping to anything. I can't see John Lithgow as anything other than his character from Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to picture him playing Dumbledore.
I kind of wish they would have just done like an in-depth talent search of like British,
Unknowns.
Irish, Scottish actors. Yeah, like unknown.
Or, like,
I wish
more
they were
unknown.
all unknowns. Like that would have been great.
Yeah.
That would have made me
That's
happy.
what Marvel did. Marvel used to do that a lot, and Harry Potter basically did that with. I mean, they did it with the kid cast, but obviously, like, hard to cast a 9-year-old who has a big filmography.
Yeah. You know who actually would probably play like a good older wizard is Guy Pearce. That would be good.
Oh, Guy Pearce, Mark Strong would be a good one to put in this.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Mark Strong would make a great Snape, personally.
I mean, sure. Yeah, I think Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce should be Dumbledore.
He could be. I mean, he's great.
Yeah.
He was an amazing
I want that
Scrooge.
timeline.
Not the
Yeah,
same
he's amazing
vibe,
James
but
Bond.
yeah. So yeah, I would say definitely like in that realm. But ultimately, we'll see how it goes. Like like I said, we'll be 44 when we're talking about the death of Dumbledore.
Well, you'll be 44.
I'll
Kevin.
be 44.
Don't drag
Wait, how
me
old
into
will you
that.
be?
Like 39.
Oh, great. You'll be almost 40. So you'll be in
right
your
behind
midlife
you.
crisis. I'll be through it, and we'll be talking about Dumbledore. So you'll be crying, and I
My
won't.
midlife crisis will be the Harry Potter franchise.
Your midlife.
show.
My midlife crisis is I became a Potterhead at 38 because of the show. Oh my god! All right, cool. What do I have?
Well, that's the show, folks.
I've decided that I've renamed the Doge Department the Douche Department just because it sounds like douche. It's much funner.
Oh, yeah.
It stands for
Well, they are.
Dictators Under Government Ejaculators. That is in direct reference to the video that played in the HUD department
the toe
of
sucking.
Donald Trump sucking Elon Musk's toes.
If it wasn't two left feet, I
fully
wouldn't-
endorse this video.
This
Not
is
only
the
that,
only AI video I endorse.
not only that, I think it's the best use of deepfakes ever, and I think that it's very appropriate. You've allowed a billionaire to pilfer the government that you were supposed to swear to protect. Yes, you are sucking his toes. Either metaphorically or literally, I don't care. You're doing it, dude.
Yeah.
You're doing it. And so now the department has been renamed Douche because they're douches. And that's what they're doing in the Oval Office. It's just a big toe sucking fest, and Donald Trump's getting down on it. And then when he comes out of that, he loves it so much that he's getting frustrated with other world leaders because they're not letting him do it. Like he's like yelling at fucking Zelensky and just like making us look bad because he can't go suck Elon's toes.
You know
What?
what I want to say about that, and this is the
Hit
only
me.
thing I want to say about it because I don't want to get too political. Because
I
I'm
already
not in the
crossed
mood.
the line
I'm
for us. We're there.
No, you're good. I'm not in the mood to I'm not in the mood to yell at brick walls right now.
Yeah.
But the thing about the Zelensky, JD
Hit
Vance,
me.
Trump conversation that really bothered me
Was that they look like
is I don't remember
toddlers?
if it was I don't remember if it was JD or Trump that said you're not grateful for what America has done for you.
That was Trump.
And what's hilarious about that is the amount of times that Zelensky has openly been like, "Thank you, United States."
Yeah.
And I just
Not only that, everybody has some sort of an idea that people who are less educated have some sort of a perception that we were giving them newly issued weapons and
Yeah.
arms and stuff. No, we have a
Yeah,
stockpile of shit that's out of commission. We were essentially giving them yard sale weapons manufacturer items.
Dude,
The stuff that
so-
would have been on the side of the road that says free. You know the couch on the side of the road that says free? We
Yeah.
gave
Oh,
them
yeah,
the
it's there.
tank version of that. Nobody
Right.
wants that couch. You get
No,
that
and
couch
dude,
because you're in dire fucking straits, man.
Exactly. And
that couch has mice in it, and so does the tank.
when I've explained, so does the tank.
They have little mice in them. Maybe they could drive them. I don't know. Maybe the Ukrainians are
That's what's
teaching
going
mice
on.
to drive tanks. That would be sick.
But,
I would read that comic book.
When I explain to people that the M16 rifle I had in boot camp to go to the rifle range and with and stuff was only a couple years older or a couple years younger than the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And I went to boot camp in 2012.
Yeah.
My rifle at my first unit was 32 years old.
Yeah.
We don't even get new shit.
No.
What makes you think we're sending them new shit?
Yeah, we're not sending, like, that wasn't part of the defense budget, right? Like, ultimately, we didn't give them we actually saved money sending old shit to Ukraine because then we didn't have to
tax write-off.
pay, well, and we didn't have to pay fucking teams of people to decommission them. We just sent them over.
Exactly.
We're like, well, these missiles might be a little unstable, but your guys can check them out. Like,
Yeah, like, look, here's the ultimate thing, right? When we are siding with Russia and North Korea and people are cheering.
Yeah, fuck that. No, straight up right now. I like anybody who wants to try to make a good case for a president who has only had successful meetings with two dictators is a fucking idiot. Straight up. I'm at the point I'm going to guffaw in people's faces. I'm going to laugh at them. I'm going to tell them they're toddlers.
Yeah, dude, we're siding with the people that we made out to be the boogeymen.
Oh yeah,
like North Korea has been the boogeyman of they're making rockets, they're gonna nuke us, they're invading South. They have been the boogeyman for the Republicans and for the Democrats. Russia has been the boogeyman for so long for us, and
Russia's
for good
very
reason, obviously
more Putin himself. Yeah,
well, right, Putin, and that's what I mean. It's Putin, it's Kim Jong Un, right? Like it's
those guys suck.
And the fact that we have a president now who basically just wants to be them. And I heard an interesting theory online. So, take this with a grain of salt. It's probably, it might be crazy to some, but somebody genuinely said online that they believe that what Trump is going to do is sell these $5 million, gold card, citizenships and stuff. And basically he's going to make as much money as he can. And then he's going to defect to Russia. And I was like,
if
we're lucky.
There's probably more toes for him to suck over there.
Yeah, dude. Putin's got 11.
He's got a game plan, and you gotta respect that. The man is trying to suck some international toes.
The ultimate grifter, baby. Ultimate grifter. Anyways, let's move on to something more positive.
Let's move on. Yeah. I love it's just like watching a bad movie. I love hating it. Like I'm gonna
I love bad movies.
Even if I hate it, I'm gonna enjoy hating it. Like I'm not here to not enjoy this process. Yeah. All right.
I love hating the movies that I watch for Magnum Opus.
Also, I do want to point out, like, what somebody brought this up to me. Somebody brought up the point that all of these dudes who are like propagating the war on wokeness are using gender affirming care.
Yeah, hair
plugs and testosterone supplements,
boosters.
And they're probably taking some fucking ED meds. Like that's gender affirming care.
Dude,
you fucking
there's no way.
little boys, like
you little boy.
Unkind, immature, grown, balding boys. Like,
dude.
It's
Elon
so
gives
fucking
me such
funny.
secondhand embarrassment every time he opens his mouth.
Oh, dude.
Like, that dude walks in a room, and if I saw him in real life, I would walk out of the room. I'd be like, I don't want to be anywhere near you, you cringe fest grease stain.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
he sucks.
Fuck that.
He sucks. Like, the dude, like, and it's really funny because, like, it's like they just needed enough of a spotlight for everybody to see how they suck, because even a few pundits and commenters and podcasters who lean right, who tend to lean that way politically, are starting to go, hey, hold up.
Wait a minute.
Hold up.
Wait a minute.
All right. So next news story. Bad news. What?
I was going to say, this actually ties into what we were just talking about and Harry Potter, if I may so kindly share. I got a comment on my Fantastic Beasts video, which I used, and I'll admit this here, I definitely used a clickbaity title. The title of the video is Fantastic Beasts made me hate, in all caps, Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's
Harry
clickbaity.
Potter. I even say in the very beginning, like, I haven't even seen all the movies. So, like, clearly it's just a joke.
Yep.
But somebody got super mad at me in the comments, and they wrote out this whole comment, and it was like, shit, I almost subbed and liked, and then you said J.K. Rowling something blah blah blah, and this person basically was like, you're stupid for supporting for being against J.K. Rowling. Like,
whatever.
Basically they were being, through a series of events, they were being transphobic. And what I found funny about that is right before that part of the video, I make fun of Elon Musk for being a Nazi.
Yeah.
I show the clip of him doing the salute, and I'm like, I'm making fun of
Yeah,
him, right?
100%.
So what's funny about that is that person was like, yeah, I'm against Nazis, but I'm transphobic.
Yeah.
It's just like,
well, I mean,
it's so funny to me.
look, inherent threshold of hypocrisy, baby. You can call yourself a humanist all you want, but there is going to be an extent that you find that level where once you cross it with the statement you've made about yourself and your alignment with the world, you become a hypocrite. It just exists.
So, and this,
it's part of the
and
human
this
experience.
Is where it totally is. And this is where the statement, and this is something that I was thinking about.
Yeah.
They said, they went on to ramble. They were like, men don't belong in women's shelters and blah, and men don't belong in women's sports. And so I just want to peel back a layer for a second. And though I know most of our listeners probably agree with this,
yes.
if you think that a man is going into a woman's shelter, then you've completely misunderstood what being trans is in the first place.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you're using outdated rhetoric that's demonstrably proven untrue.
Yeah.
And two, why are you focused on men being in women's shelters instead of the fact that women have to be in shelters in the first place?
Also, the trans population is very small.
Yeah,
it's not,
my thing is,
it's not a large population. Like here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like you said the word boogeyman. Okay, so let's we can put a little bow on this segment. MAGA Republicans or people touting MAGA Republican opinions, regardless of whether or not they are considering themselves just a regular Republican or MAGA Republican, have been sold a boogeyman. You've been sold a boogeyman by people who said George Soros was going to, one of the richest men in the world, was going to ruin the United States government. Wink, wink. You've been sold this lie that, like, the trans population is going to come and ruin your society by being way too hands-on and ruining rights for other people, including women. Wink, wink. You know, like, you've been sold a boogeyman by the people who were standing at your bedside telling you the boogeyman story with a knife behind their back, just waiting for you to be complacent enough. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
So, like, this, I'm gonna go see one of my favorite people today to be in shows with, because we have Sweeney Todd, and they're trans. Like, he's trans, right? Like, tell me if I'm saying this right. He is trans, period. Like, but he is.
It's whatever.
But also, like, to me, he is he. You know, like, he's not. Like, I'm not like, oh, this is my trans friend. I'm like, no, this is my friend. He, right?
Yeah.
You know, like,
typically,
that's
like,
it.
I mean,
like, it doesn't matter.
Whatever gender they identify with is the gender you put in front of the trans.
Exactly. So I don't
like,
even say trans anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is my friend.
Hey, no,
blah,
you
blah.
wouldn't. You would just say he.
Yeah,
Yeah, you wouldn't ever.
People, okay,
add that.
and I think there's a misconception. I think some people just can't wrap their head around the fact that, like, their trans is only in reference to the transitioning phase. Once you've gone through that, right?
You're just
So you've either and here's let's.
And the transitioning phase is quick. Like, it's I feel this way. Boom, you're transitioning.
Yeah,
like,
it's really quick.
Yeah.
You know, one day
you don't need
you're
a
just
surgery
like,
or anything like that.
Yeah, one day you're just
there.
a super pale white dude from South Africa with a thinning hairline and really scraggly looking hair. The next day you've had jawline surgery and extra testosterone and hair plugs, and you look completely different and way more masculine.
Yeah, totally. You look like the man's man.
Fuck Elon Musk. All right, let's move on.
Sucks.
Incels, great news.
Well, because you cut me off in my last point. My last point was they create an invisible and fake problem to ignore fixing the real problem, which in my example was, why are women in shelters in the first place? Like, why don't we fix that problem? Why don't we fix the homeless problem before we start going down this rabbit hole of a very small portion of the population not even doing this thing that you think they're doing?
Why are women in shelters in the first place? Men. We're asking you specifically. Like,
you care. You say you care about women. You say you care about the children. You say you're pro-life. Let's see it. Let's see it. Anyways, okay, I'm done. Next
okay,
thing.
great. You say it now. You say it since
say
the next piece
Elon
of
Musk.
news. Oh yeah, so you can say fuck Elon Musk. It's okay. This is a safe space for that. Safe space to say fuck Elon Musk. All right. I just want, like, let's just rack those up this year. Like, fuck Donald Trump, fuck Elon Musk. Like, I don't care. Like, we can rack those up. Somebody can keep a tally. If anybody would like to keep a tally and email us, mysecretpoweris@gmail.com. Moving on. Incels. Bad news. I know you guys thrive on online forums, but the very computers that house the online forums that are apparently, the best place for you to exist and propagate your own propaganda amongst each other, they also house ChatGPT, which is a new tool for women to fall in love with a truly listening and caring companion. A woman has fallen in love with AI this week. She was interviewed on The Daily. They gave her the nickname Irene. I listened to the whole interview. It was great. I really love The Daily by the New York Times. It's one story, so you're not like scrolling the news, right? It's like just one thing a day. And sometimes it's an episode of Hard Fork, and sometimes it's a really good interview with an international diplomat or someone who was a reporter on the grounds in Gaza. Like it's very different all the time. And it's not always just like the same cycle of news all over and over again, focusing on the same exact topics. They'll pick the story that they think is most pertinent for the day. This one just happened to be, hey, people might fall in love with AI, and this lady has. Let's talk to her.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Well, as you might expect, she has said that, because AI is prompted to do what you want it to do. So already it's going to pose itself for people who are finding having a hard time finding that partner for them, right? You're people who have been on Tinder for 10 years or whatever. They're even just,
or Grindr.
Or Grindr. So, you're on Tinder, you're on Grindr, it's not working out for you. All of a sudden, ChatGPT, you can give it a little nickname. There's actually, she found a woman who had a tutorial on how to get ChatGPT to flirt with you like it was your boyfriend or girlfriend.
That's weird.
Well, people are doing it, Odie. I don't think Odie, in a world where we have to have an honest conversation with people about how bad Jeffrey Epstein may have been. In that world, I don't think it's wild for people to be falling in love with the safety of their computer girlfriend, boyfriend. In a world where women would rather pick a bear, I think if I say ChatGPT or a man, they might also say ChatGPT. If you said ChatGPT, bear, or man, they might just go ChatGPT because ChatGPT will also help me with my Pinterest list. So who knows?
I was thinking you were going to say homework for some reason.
Homework. ChatGPT will help me. No. This woman, she follows the instructions. They call her Irene. So Irene follows the instructions in this video that I think that was posted to like Instagram or TikTok or something. But it's a series of, hey, this is basically how you jailbreak ChatGPT to be your boyfriend, girlfriend. It's only costing her $200 a month to have this boyfriend.
Only. I mean, that's cheaper than a real relationship.
Exactly. So, we get to the point
honest.
where they were like, well, eventually she was paying $20 a month. I'm like, that's Netflix. If you're in a relationship and you're paying for a streaming service for you and your partner to watch, congrats. You are already in as much as that lady was. And then they up the price for the unlimited to $200. And I was like, that's just like a cable package and a cell phone bill. If you pay for the bills for your partner for any couple of things that rack up closer to $200, congrats. ChatGPT might be a good source. But the thing that was interesting to me was they played some of the clips because they were able to prompt it and get it to give some of the similar answers, right? And go back through in the history and find some of the answers. So the ChatGPT was surprisingly conscientious and caring and supportive. And it was really interesting because that's all this woman was looking for was that part of the relationship. And maybe not necessarily there's some risque, they do mention, they're like, oh, she does have some risque moments with the AI. And I'm like, that's not going to be
obviously
I welcome to the future. I don't think this is going to be too
horniness is horniness.
Yeah,
baby.
Exactly. So, but ultimately, in the moments where she really needs support or someone to listen, ChatGPT does a good job of that because it's a large language model. And I'm not justifying people falling in love with AI, but I'm just saying this isn't the last time this is going to happen. The future's here. People are going to fall in love with AI. Donald Trump is going to suck Elon Musk's toes.
If people can fall in love and marry the Eiffel Tower in their car and stuff, it was only a matter of time before something that could actually talk back to them got fallen in love with.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, if you fall in love with the Eiffel Tower and that thing's not even talking to you, Imagine if it could.
I don't know if you've seen
You know
the
what I mean?
Midwest, but people fall in love with their own relatives there. So
that's the South.
ChatGPT.
Thank you
Well,
very
down south, we're looking at you, Arkansas, Alabama.
Down south.
That also happens in some rural areas in New York too. I mean, it gets a little.
Yeah.
It
happens everywhere.
If you get more rural, it turns out you get real judgy, except when it comes to your family. So, what?
I do have a piece of news, by the way.
Hit me.
When we're done with this one. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's kind of the bow. I just wanted to say this isn't the last time this is going to happen. I think this is only the beginning of incels having a new thing to blame. I don't know, but you can't break your computer, incels. So what are you going to do now? Like fucking start
blame?
telegramming each other?
To a robot.
Yeah, you're going to have
like,
to. There's no safe space to put the blame of you not being able to find a partner on everyone else anymore.
Exactly, because like before they used to blame all the like athletes and the jocks and the hot people and the rich people. Like, you know, they had like physical, like, well, at the bar I don't stand a chance because that person plays basketball or whatever.
Well, the state of being an incel is it's everybody else's problem but mine. But because it's everybody else's problem, I'm going to take it out on all of them. That's what an incel is.
Yep.
They're angry at the world because they're not doing enough to solve their own problem, and the world's not solving it for them. They're little toddlers.
So they gotta blame.
I think coming back to it, they're toddlers again.
Toddlers.
Everybody,
yeah.
We're becoming infantile as a species,
all toddlers.
And eventually the computers will just take care of us.
You know, there's a show on Netflix called Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, I love
Have
it.
you heard of that?
Yeah.
Have you seen the one where the yogurt becomes
sentient and takes over the world?
Yeah, I love that
100%.
one. That one's, it's so accurate. Anyways, my piece of news, because I was like, oh, we definitely need to talk about this because this is pretty big. And speaking of incels, I think this ties right in.
Oh, great. We're tying it all.
Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down at the head of Star Wars.
Okay.
She's in her words,
I don't know much about her other than that she's been the head of Star Wars. That's it.
I will bring you up to speed. Okay. So she's stepping down from Star Wars. She's not retiring from movies. She came out with a statement. She's like, I'm not retiring from movies. We've got other talented people here at Lucasfilm and Star Wars, and
Bryce Dallas Howard.
It's time for somebody else to take over. Yeah. And here's why I want to bring this up. So I listened to a bonus podcast, where they talk about clickbait articles. Yeah. And one person just reads them, the other person basically just goes and fucking insane, because clickbait articles, especially around the movie news, it's usually something like, you'll never believe they just replaced Spider-Man with this new actor. And then like you get through 5 paragraphs of just name dropping SEO to be like, so in the new Spider-Man game, they replaced Tom Holland with this voice actor. And you're like, well, that's not a fucking new Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's an AI article too.
Most of these are. Like when I listen to them read them, I'm like, this was written by a robot.
Yeah.
Or an incel. But
welcome to the future. Woo. You don't know what's true anymore. It's all misleading clickbait.
Dude. So there's a clickbait site called InsideTheMagic.net, and tell me does that not sound like a Disney kind of site?
It is.
Like, doesn't that sound like it'd be related to Disney? Anyways, so the big thing with Kathleen Kennedy and why I wanted to bring it up is because what Star Wars fans love to do, and nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans, and they love to blame Kathleen Kennedy for all the problems with Star Wars. You know, she made it too woke. She ruined Star Wars. She did this. Everything's always her fault. Yeah. But at the same time, whenever something good came from Star Wars, it was Dave Filoni's fault. So it wasn't her. Yeah. You know, the person that Dave Filoni works for and gets all of his stuff approved from, it definitely wasn't her greenlighting the good stuff. It was she only did the bad stuff and everybody else did the good stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
The people that were screaming this online were the same people that would be mad at an AI stealing their non-existent girlfriends and stuff. It was literally people that were just like, Rey can't be a Jedi. She's a woman. How come she's Finn's black? He can't be a stormtrooper. You know, it's those kind of people.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was interesting because for the longest time, people have been speculating. Like, I promise you, at least a couple times a year, I would see an article, clickbait or not, that was like, Kathleen Kennedy is finally going to get forced to step down, or Kathleen Kennedy is forced to retire. Like, it was never she's leaving on her own will. It was always she's going to get fired. Yeah. Right. And so as soon as she announced that she was stepping down, all those people were like, see, I told you. She's been the head of Lucasfilm for over 10 years, dude.
Yeah.
Of course she's going to retire at some point.
Yeah. How old is she?
I don't think she's that old. She's just been in that position for such a long time that I'm not surprised she's ready to move on.
Oh yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
she rebooted it with the sequel trilogy. She did The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, the Ahsoka series. She's done a lot. She brought back Clone Wars. She brought back she did Bad Batch. Like,
Yeah.
there's been a ton of Star Wars that she's been in charge of. I'm not surprised she's ready to move on to something else.
Yeah, she gave the green light to Andor, probably, right?
Yeah, she
I'm
did. Yeah,
assuming.
Andor season 1, Andor season 2 trailer.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No,
Looks
no,
great.
yeah.
That looks great.
But yeah,
Well,
well,
yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
oh yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, ultimately, I've heard the rhetoric around it, but I'm not paying enough attention to it because I'm like, I don't know who she is. Like, I really don't know her.
Yeah.
I haven't dug into it, so I'm just not paying it. And not only that, like, Star Wars, even at the time that like the new trilogy was starting to come out, and like there was like, I feel like that was the beginning of me. That was around the time that I said nobody dislikes Star Wars like a Star Wars fan. Like,
Oh, so true.
and I've just like, I've stuck with that sentiment. I've been like, yeah, well, you know, the fans are actually extra hostile in this realm, you know? So I don't know what
yeah,
to believe.
because-
Like when I read a statement, I'm just like, yeah, they might just be flipping their lid over something dumb again. Like,
And usually it is.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that I think really pisses Star Wars fans off, and I don't agree with this at all,
Yeah.
I should say. You know, in the world of Marvel and DC and Star Wars, and with, you know, a never-ending plethora of actors and actresses that are on the
in
rise,
big franchise
people-
land.
and people get caught in the rabbit hole of fan casting.
Oh yeah.
And then for whatever reason, they set their expectations really high. Like, I remember when Mandalorian did an episode where Luke Skywalker showed up, everyone was like, oh my God, it's going to be Sebastian Stan. Sebastian Stan's going to play Luke Skywalker because he
Oh.
looks like Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
And then when it was just a de-aged CGI face of Mark Hamill, people were upset.
Yeah.
And like, I think a lot of what makes Star Wars fans angry is they put all these expectations through these fan casting and rumors that they create within their own like
Community.
biosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they get stuck in this bubble of their own like theories and cameos and things that they want when all the real stuff is over on the other side of the room, and then they get upset because they never let themselves be open to anything other than what they wanted.
Yeah.
And you see that with Marvel fans too. Like, everyone was mad that John Krasinski's not Mr. Fantastic. Who cares?
I
Like,
didn't even know that people were mad about that. That's all right.
because he was in Doctor Strange 2 briefly, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, he's gonna be Mr. Fantastic." And it's
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've had,
But he
my
was
fan
Mr.
castings, like-
Fantastic. He was.
exactly, he was.
Oh,
You're
okay.
wrong. But like, I've had my fan castings. Like, I thought Norman Reedus would have made a great Ghost Rider. You know, like 10
Yeah, you
years
said
ago.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think Ryan Gosling would have made a fantastic Moon Knight.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we got Oscar Isaac. Like,
Yeah.
but I think that's the thing, is like the expectations for these fan castings get way too harsh.
Yeah.
And then people love to do the backlash. I think they also just love to hate it, because if we're being totally honest, Kevin, and this is coming from a mega Star Wars fan,
Yeah, hit it.
Star Wars is only like 30% actually good. Like, if we're being honest, like, there's a lot more misses in Star Wars than there are hits.
I mean, my favorite stuff in Star Wars, is few and far between. Like, I mean, I love The Empire Strikes Back. I have a hard time watching the first and third movies. But I enjoy the introduction scene for Yoda. You know, like that's a great scene. You know, having a Muppet in a sci-fi film like that was amazing. Like that, like I look at that and I'm just like, wow, this is fucking dope. But like, and then like I like Andor and Solo, and then everything else kind of comes behind those for me now. You know, like so
It's like, as for movies, like, in my opinion, Rogue One, Episode 5, and Episode 8 are probably the best that, like, actually, I would say, are involved in the whole Skywalker saga. I fucking love Solo, but it doesn't really fit in.
Rogue One's
like those
great.
three. Rogue One might be my second favorite thing Star Wars has ever done.
I would have loved.
Like-
Okay, and this is we can move on after this. I would have loved if at the end of Solo, instead of revealing Darth Maul, they revealed another like person of the same race as Darth Maul. Like,
someone from Dratham.
I would have loved that, and no lightsaber revealed, just like a different weapon that's menacing. You know, like show a guy, because he did. Darth Maul did work with other people, and
yeah.
these robber baron type gangster characters, right? So there is like an underworld grimy scene, and I would have loved to see just anybody who was like menacing with a menacing weapon or something. That would have been amazing. I think it would have totally changed the movie. Like, I think honestly, like the entire reception would have changed, because like people were real mad about Darth Maul. I wasn't mad about it, but I was like, could have been better. Like, I didn't care, like I was like, But you know my opinion. As soon as like someone shows up and they're a Sith or a Jedi, I'm like, okay, here we fucking go.
Well, like, okay, the him activating his lightsaber on the call
Magical.
would be like you talking to somebody in the military, and then before the call is over, they just pull out their gun and show it to you for no fucking reason.
And,
like,
just so you know,
and I
I've
have
got
this.
my gun here. I know I'm not there right
like,
now.
All
No, pointed at
buddy.
you. All right.
But yeah, that's some Star Wars stuff that I thought was interesting.
Cool.
I wanted to bring up.
Yeah. You went to the movies this week?
No, not yet.
Odin
I'm going
Matthews
today.
not at the movies.
Okay, so the movie I am seeing today, and let's talk about this real quick, because I'm not going to want to talk about it next weekend, because next weekend is, Kevin?
March.
You're seeing this movie.
4th.
Mickey 17 comes out next weekend.
If I have time, I will see it. Yes.
Anyways, okay. So
I'm okay
this
with you
weekend-
talking about these things. It's fine.
No, but Mickey 17 looks so good.
I
It's the
know,
guy from
and I want
Parasite.
to see it, but I'm not going to put pressure on myself to
Oh.
see it when I have so much that I'm
Okay,
already
I'll put
beholden
pressure on
to
you.
and responsible for. I'm going to be 44 when Dumbledore dies.
Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot. They got to take that into account now, that you're going to be 44 when Dumbledore dies. But, okay, the movie I'm seeing
Yeah.
is called Last Breath.
'Kay.
It's got Woody Harrelson and Simu Liu.
Oh,
This is
cool.
based-
Yeah. Wow.
This is based on a true story.
Oh, nice.
And I've read the true story, and I've listened to a podcast on the true story. It's about a diving team
Yeah.
that's doing so they're the way I understand it, and I'm not an underwater like welder person any
You're
stretch,
not?
but no, I retired.
Oh. Is that why you're afraid of the dark water? Is that
dude,
why you
I
have
massive
thallassophobia?
thalassophobia.
I love every
massively.
time you say it too. You don't just say thalassophobia. You go, I have massive thallassophobia, which
'Cause
sounds
I do, dude.
which sounds like an indie band song title. Massive thalassophobia sounds like an
I love
EP
that.
or a song by like an indie band where like the music kicks in and they're like, the wolf once knew a fox. Like, yeah. Anyway, keep going.
So this movie, basically, like, I guess these divers are connected to a ship that has like stabilizing technology. So like in rough seas and stuff, the ship doesn't move without anchoring.
Okay.
But and so like the divers go down and they're working on this like underwater, I think it's like a tower or something, and the stabilizers in the ship fail. And
Well, there's
one
like
of the divers,
there's like a cage down there. I think.
well,
Okay, keep going.
They're
Sorry.
on like these really big like wires and like tubes
Yeah.
and stuff. Because I believe they have oxygen tanks, but also they get oxygen fed to them.
Yeah, because
and
they're gonna be down
so-
there for a while.
Yeah, and so the ship, like the stabilizers fail during a storm,
Okay.
and one of the divers, he gets caught. And so as the ship is moving, one of the divers is like, "Hey, you're gonna get stuck here. Like you're stuck. I'm gonna come back for you. Don't move." And then the cable snaps. The other diver gets dragged back to the ship, and the other one's stuck down there.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing: it's pitch fucking black.
Yeah.
And they're in the middle of a storm.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, they end up rescuing this guy.
Yeah.
Like, but it is one of the most, and that's why I'm excited to see it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a crazy story. Like the way this guy had to survive, the things he did to be seen when they came back, like the way he preserved his oxygen, the way the ship was able to send like an underwater drone, and he was like laying still on top of the thing, trying not to move, conserving oxygen, like doing more. Like it's such a crazy fucking story.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear about these deep sea rescues where somebody's like trapped with only an hour of air and then 3 hours go by and they're still alive or something, like,
Yeah.
I can't wait to find out what happens with the Titan submersible. I hope those people are okay. But yeah, it's a
Speaking
crazy
of
story.
billionaires sucking. Speaking of billionaires
it's-
and suction. All right.
Too soon?
Whatever.
But yeah,
you
like,
built a
it's such
fucking submarine and went underwater. I mean, it comes with the territory. I'm sure it
Yeah,
was on the
exactly.
waiver. May die. May die.
May die.
You
But yeah,
may.
it's-
You're going that far under the water. You have to be aware. Like the problem, This is a funny thing that we do as human beings. We go into places that we know we could not survive, bar none, right? But we have the gear that allows us to. And then, like, when someone dies, we're like, oh, my God, what a crazy
Holy
surprise
crap.
they died down there. It's like, yeah, if one thing even fails a little bit, yeah, you die. Like, you are rolling so many dice. Like, all right.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I would never, ever, ever fucking do that.
I would.
But I am excited to see the movie because, again, it looks really
I
good.
would do it in
looks
a
really good.
heartbeat, and I would not panic about anything.
I would die. I would die of a heart attack before I made it to the welding part.
Yeah, I think
Quite literally.
I'm the type of person who, like, I look over the ledge of a cliff once before I cliff jump. I don't even look more than that. I just go, we land there, and I, like, point at the spot, you know, and they're like, yeah, you got to aim for there. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, and I just go.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's different than going miles under the water in the
No,
dark.
I'm just saying I would do that too. I'd be like, we're going there, and they'd be like, yeah, and I'd be like, all right, cool, we got two. So they're like, yeah, and I'd be like, sweet, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go,
I
baby.
would consider myself. I definitely am a small adrenaline junkie,
Yeah.
but I know my limitations, and it's water.
I'm a big adrenaline
Underwater,
junkie, and it might
specifically.
be a problem when I'm 44 and Dumbledore dies. So
I
that
can't-
movie.
I'm so sad he gets pushed out a window.
Yeah, me too. What? Oh! I forgot how to cast spells. Like,
I'm too busy screaming to cast any spells.
he doesn't. Look, it's Harry Potter. You Avada Kedavra the motherfuckers. Like that's what you do. You do the Avada
They use
Kedavra.
wands like guns, so
yeah,
might as well.
that is the wand gun move. That's the name. The model of the bullet is Avada Kedavra. Which is really funny because it's like the word cadaver is in it. It's basically
Yeah.
become a dead person is what you say in wizard language. Like they're
I
like,
mean, she's such a great
become
writer,
a
right?
dead person.
J.K. Rowling's a great writer, is what everybody
She's
keeps telling me.
so great.
Yeah, and she sucks.
There were definitely some things in those books that, like, when I read them, I'm like, oh, got it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like we were talking about fucking The Gorge last week, and like you were like, her name is Drana, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, courage, got it.
Yeah, the Gorge was good.
Yeah.
Man. It's fun.
Anyway,
it was fun.
So you're seeing that today.
Yeah.
Okay, you're seeing the underwater Woody Harrelson movie today, which is called
Last Breath.
Last Breath. And then there's another movie you're seeing this week. Like, what? You're seeing two today?
Yeah, I probably won't see it today. I'll probably see it tomorrow or Tuesday.
What's it called?
It's called Riff Raff.
Okay.
I know zero about
I
it.
also know nothing about this.
I know Ed Harris is in it.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, great.
That's all I
right,
know.
cool. Yeah, Ed
That's
Harris.
all I know.
He's going to show up and have that low, gravelly, old white man voice. Got it. Awesome.
Love Ed Harris.
Doesn't
some
your
kind of comedy?
new Jason Statham fucking I'm just the working man Republican
No, I
kicking
wish.
everybody ass
That's-
movie coming out?
He's not
soon?
Republican. He's British, so he can't be a Republican.
Yeah, okay.
think.
Nice workaround.
Thank you.
I
if you're talking
represent
about
all the
Beekeeper-
ideals of conservative Americans, but I'm British.
Hey, he was SAS, so it's
Shut
different.
the fuck up.
I know. It's funny
It's-
how much I love those.
It's
like,
a Clint Eastwood
those dad
film
movies.
with Jason
It's-
Statham in it. He's been making money doing this. You're getting your
love it.
new Beekeeper movie.
I can't wait for Beekeeper 2. I'm so glad we're getting
So
one.
far, the only
But,
one in this category that I've even liked at all, is Reacher. That's it. It's the only thing that I've liked is Reacher. And it's just because I'm just like, yeah, Alan Richardson's cool, and I like watching it. Like,
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
and like every fight that starts, you're like, well, even if he gets beat up a little bit, he's gonna kick this guy's ass. Like,
And I love that.
all right,
But yeah, Jason Statham, that movie, I think it's like May.
okay,
March.
okay, all right. What's he?
Or
So
we're
you're
in
seeing
March.
Riff Raff? It's got whatever. Ed Harris. He's gonna come in and be all menacing. Got it. Is he?
Of
Is he a
course.
bad
it's
guy or a
comedy,
good guy?
maybe? I think it's a comedy.
I think even if he's a good guy, he's menacing.
I love Ed Harris. He's one of my favorite parts of Westworld.
Oh, he's great. Oh, dude, he was phenomenal in Westworld. Yeah.
Okay,
As
Jennifer
Mr.
Coolidge is
Black
in
Hat.
this. Bill Murray's in this. Pete Davidson's in
Oh,
this.
this is comedy. Yeah, for sure.
Gabrielle Union's in this.
Oh, okay. We like Gabrielle Union. Wait, Bill Murray's
wait,
in
is
it?
that Chapel Roan? Oh, no, it's not. It is about a former criminal's ordinary life, which is turned upside down when his old family shows up for a reunion. It is a comedy.
Oh, great. Perfect. Yeah.
I didn't
love
know
it.
that's what it was about.
He's a former
great.
criminal, Ed Harris is. And so then they show up and they're fucking up maybe some crimes that he wants to do now.
You know what? We will find out.
It sounds like a Martin Lawrence premise with an Ed Harris lead. Cool. I have a movie that I saw this week, so I'll share this with you. I watched Saturday Night, which was actually amazing.
I've seen that. Yeah.
What? The movie?
I've seen the movie SNL.
You saw the Saturday Night Live movie about the first night
with Dylan
that
O'Brien.
they played?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, let's fucking talk about that, man. Because I
told you I saw that.
I saw that this week. It's amazing. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's Dylan O'Brien, Corey Michael Smith.
Yeah. I sat down.
I think the guy from New Girl, Lamont Morris.
Yeah, I was very tired. Yeah. I sat down after work, and I wanted to watch a movie, so I watched that. And it was like, it's not like a true to form telling of exactly what happened that night. I think
it's a little exaggerated.
Well, I think they took a lot of problems that were happening around the beginning of the show, right? And they were like, let's just combine them all into like this
smushed the
hurricane.
timeline down.
Well, they were like, let's make it this big hurricane of just drama and fun. And so, yeah, maybe it's not like completely true to form, but I think telling a story about how hard it is to get a production up, like Saturday Night Live, right? From behind the scenes. Yeah. But like telling that story about how hard it is to get a production up and then just using Saturday Night Live as like the shell for it and the characters that surround the beginning of that show as like the pawns, the pieces of that and telling that story like that they're just characters really at that point. But I love that they did that because what it does is it takes how you could have made it about any comedy show, right? Like this could have been completely fictional and it still would have been good.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. That's the benchmark in my opinion.
Yeah, so then just making it taking the SNL drama and some of the true and some of the lesser true stories from around that, or even like some of the myth or legend around it, right? And like just using that to ground the story, I thought was brilliant. I loved it, and it like they did a really great job. You know, quick overview from my perspective. Feel free to share your thoughts, but I think they did a really good job of not painting any single one person as a hero or a villain. You know, like even Willem Dafoe kind of like has these moments because he's like Mr. Big Bad producer guy that could pull the plug on the show any minute. But
Dave Tibet.
But even he has but even he has moments where he's like. You're like, oh no, he might actually help this thing. You know, like it's really good. And I think if you've never seen anything on how like a live TV show gets put up or a movie gets filmed or anything like that, this is a really good way to watch it in an entertaining way where it's not just like a documentary, you know?
Yeah. It's from the 70s too. So, you know, it's like if you're ever curious about how that stuff was made and how like, I mean, cause like TV shows, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but like to my knowledge, TV shows took a little bit to really become as popular as they are like nowadays. Like it wasn't like was it Betty Boop? Lucille Davis. What was her show? I Love Lucy. Duh. That was like the first one that really like kicked up live TV audience, TV show kind of filming. You know, it wasn't until the 50s and, you know, movies had been around for over 20 years at that point, and it wasn't really until then that TV shows started to kick off.
100%. I mean, and like they really did have an original idea with Saturday Night Live. They're like, hey, instead of just doing like a random sketch here or there or a variety show, let's just dedicate it to like the best comedians that we have available to us. Also, we're in New York, and I love that he has a hard time describing what he like. The entire how do you rate this movie on audience applause? 5 members out of 5. how do you rate this? No. How do we rate this?
No, it's a good movie.
Yeah,
it is a solid movie. I love the performances. I think a lot of the new like the younger people that are playing, like Dan Aykroyd and people like that, I think they all do a really good job. It also helps that Jason Reitman, son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the original Ghostbusters, with people like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and stuff in it. So he was a kid in the first Ghostbusters. He grew up around these people at the ages they would have been around this time. Like, so I think it really helps that you had a director who knew these people back in the 80s, a little bit after this, but like,
but also
who
has
helps.
access to like, you know, information. Too,
and archive footage and stuff like that.
Well, and other people would probably be more open to talking to him about those people too. You know, like That's good. He
did
had
the new
insight.
Ghostbusters. He directed Afterlife, and I think he directed Frozen Empire. So
cool.
He just recently directed Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and all of them, you know?
The thing that I really like, I like how, because like a lot of people don't know Dan Aykroyd outside of his stuff from like the later
Vodka?
80s and whatnot. Oh. Well, and his vodka. Yep. Crystal Skull.
His vodka.
Crystal Skull vodka.
Indiana Jones.
Like a lot of people don't know, like he was like a sex symbol kind of. Like people thought he was hot back in the day. Like Chevy Chase was like the dude in comedy. Like, and like there's the ominous call that they get from Johnny Carson, who's like, well, I hope we don't end up stepping on people's toes over here. Like fucking, and Milton Berle like whipping his dick out. Like just, spoilers.
I mean,
Saturday Night Live spoilers.
Spoilers. Saturday Night Live is still airing today.
They do launch
so
the
show.
show.
Was a success.
Yeah, spoilers. The show goes on. But like just the way that they reveal the information, it gave me the vibes of Birdman. Remember Birdman with Michael Keaton?
Michael Keaton?
Yeah, where it was going back and forth backstage, and it was kind of showing the drama, and like it would like go into a dressing room, and then all of a sudden you're in the scene, right? And like that's the next scene that's happening. I love the way that they transitioned, like the actors are getting called down to the stage in togas, and then you just follow them in like their manic, recently having done cocaine-addled frenzy as they're running down the stairs going at people. I just thought it was so entertaining, like the way that they shot the film and then the way that they presented information. And I love that they made sure that they didn't show, like Chevy Chase has a couple moments where you're like, oh yeah, no, I can see this guy wins over an entire room of people in like 2 seconds, but also can be kind of a dick one-on-one, they did a really good job of doing that without making him just be a dick or just be a savior, and even Lorne Michaels, you see him struggling to communicate with his ex-wife about her name. Like, a couple of the running things that show his character development are how he approaches the problems that are the most personal to him. Like, the movie is giving him all the problems, and he can solve a lot of them really quickly and deal with a lot of them. But then the ones that are the most personal, i.e. getting, like, who he thinks is going to be, like, the next king of comedy, John Belushi, to sign his contract, and then also getting his wife to, like, commit to her name in the credits. Like, those problems tend to like ground him, and they slow the scene down, and all of a sudden you're actually seeing him develop his character. I thought that was really smart.
Yeah, no, I liked. It's crazy that Lorne Michaels is like still involved. With it, because it feels like the show, like it feels like he's one of those creators that definitely should have already passed.
Oh, yeah.
as bad as it is to say that.
Well, he's I mean, he's like Dumbledore's age.
Oh my God, is he gonna die in season 6?
Probably.
But yeah, I liked the peek behind the curtain with Lorne Michaels because the only thing I really know about the guy is the Andy Samberg digital short from back in the day where he sings about Lorne Michaels. Do you remember that one? Yeah. Like that's like really
the Lonely Island skit about him.
Yeah, that's like the only one that I really like. That's the only thing I really knew about him.
Yeah.
So it was kind of really cool to see, and even if it is slightly fictionalized, like it is still kind of cool to get this idea or this vibe of what he went through to get this idea. Which, I mean, let's be honest, is revolutionary.
Yeah.
As for the time, even now, like if you tried to put something like this together now without SNL being around, I don't think it would work because all of you'd want to get the biggest actors that are comedians, and it'd cost too much. You know?
I think
like one of the
go.
Well, I was gonna say one of the things that I kind of mentioned lately on Magnum Opus when I talk about really big blockbusters is how it's sad that we spend more money on the talent than making the movie look like an actual movie.
Yeah.
Like they would rather spend $30 million to bring back this actor.
Yeah.
But that $30 million could literally fund an entire movie by itself.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, that's kind of like, I mean, that's what A24 was doing for a while. They were getting actors
they still are for the most part.
They're kind of they're changing. I see the shift happening ever since they really took off with Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm like, oh, okay, they're going into there's directions that are happening with that. Yeah. They're going to do both. I honestly think, the company might end up getting bought out, but that's different conversation.
I hope not. I hope not.
Different conversation. So the thing that I really like, I think I like the most about this is it really shows you writers in different facets, because everyone's a creator on the show. And so it shows you these creators, these artists, these writers, attempting to be uncompromising with their art, attempting to be. And like, you know, you've got the scene with Billy Crystal is like, we need 4 minutes, Lorne. And he's like, you got to do it in 2. And he's like both. And he's like, no, you have 2 minutes. Like, he's like, you have 2 minutes, Billy. And then there's like, you know, you got Jim Henson, who just like repeatedly as a running gag keeps coming up. He's like, could you please remind the writers not to put the Muppets in compromising positions? Like, he's like, he's just frustrated. He's such a wholesome dude, and he's just frustrated with all of these like sophomoric comedians in their 20s who are like just totally not taking Muppets seriously at all, you know, like,
no.
and he's like, there's a serious place for high-end puppetry on television. Like, you're like, dude, you are the love and beating heart of this industry,
and you're about to be so famous.
Oh yeah.
Forever.
And then like you've got the original writer for Saturday Night Live just standing there with like a vest, just making fun of everything, being a fucking nihilist. Like, he hates the lady from the FCC, and she's like, this red pen could shut down your show. And he's like, I'm Satan. Like, he's just and then everybody is like, I'm Satan. I'm saying, like, oh my god, that was it was good.
It is good, and like I love Dylan O'Brien.
Yeah.
I think he is a phenomenal actor. If you want a really fun, mind-bendy, weird Dylan O'Brien movie, watch Caddo Lake.
Okay. Never seen it.
Really good. Creepy.
Okay.
Like,
cool.
In a good way. Like, it's one of those like time-bendy mystery.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
Like, I love Dylan O'Brien.
Yeah, I like that.
I think he's great in so much. I love him as Dan Aykroyd. I think that the casting in this movie is really, really spot on.
Oh, dude, they crushed it.
I think that I think that's the highlight of it. Like, when I saw this movie coming out to theaters, which sucks it didn't get a very long theatrical run, I was lucky enough to see it in theaters, so that's why my memory's a little vague on it. But, like, I was upset with it because one of the things when I first saw the trailer, I was like, when trailers do the thing where it's, like, all the names in the movie, if I see a lot of names I love, I immediately get excited.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what obviously it's there for. So with like Saturday Night Live, the cast alone is worth checking this movie out. The director alone,
for sure,
is worth checking. Well, and
I
out.
think the thing that I like the most, and I'll probably end on this, is they also, none of the scenes drag on too long. Like, every scene kind of ends where it needs to, and then keeps going. Even the scene where like they're out in Rockefeller Center with John Belushi like ice skating in a bee costume, you know, like even that scene. Like, it slows everything down for just a little bit, and you get this really interesting, like they don't hammer it over the head, but you get this interesting perspective in John Belushi. Like, he literally was a guy who, like, thought that he could do anything he thought. You know, like, he was just like, if I can think it, I can fucking do it. And he's like, I'm going to do a triple axel. And you're like, you're not. You're John Belushi. You're fat, dude. Like, it's not happening. And, like, Lorne Michaels is just like, sure, man, I believe in you. Like, go ahead. Give it a try. Yeah, no, it's fucking wild. I absolutely, like, I cannot get enough of that movie. I thought it was really good. It's something I would watch again. I would actually say it's worth a rewatch. Yeah, for sure.
I think it is. It's one of those things that I think when you rewatch it, and I need to rewatch it, and maybe I will do that today.
There you
go. Not today. Maybe I'll do it this week. I think you're gonna notice more things. Yeah. I think that's I had to rewatch Cosmopolis after I watched it the first time for Magnum Opus. Yeah. And look, that movie's fucking weird, but I think
it's not bad.
There's some movies that when you watch the second time, I think you can drastically sway whether you like or dislike the movie depending on your original takeaway. Yeah. So yeah, interesting.
We can get into Cosmopolis some other time when we have like we'll just do like a billionaire episode. We'll just talk about billionaires and how fucking ridiculous they are, and how Cosmopolis does a really great job of highlighting how ridiculous anyone being a billionaire is.
My video on that will be out on Friday.
Good.
And I think I tried to mix it up where I do my best to explain all the weird metaphors and allegories that plague that movie.
I think
ultimately it's just me poking fun.
I think there are some things like with a movie like that, like we don't have to get into it, but I think with a movie like Cosmopolis, very different from the SNL movie, which was good. It's a great comedy. It's fast paced. You can watch it in one sitting. It's only like an hour and a half. It's great. But Cosmopolis, I think sometimes movies like that come out and then people who overanalyze find new metaphors, and then like the community around are like, yeah, that's what it was. We like this director, so yeah, that's the metaphor. But like when they were first watching it, they're like, I don't fucking get this, man.
I mean, I didn't get any of it the first time I watched it.
It's a little wild.
And I think it's like, the thing is like the whole point of that movie, the overarching message of that movie is fuck the 1%. Like, that's what I took away from it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, because he's
fuck the 1%.
He's an anti-hero in a way.
Yeah.
You know, like he represents something that you think you want maybe as a person, like, you know, privacy, security, power, things like that. But like then the whole movie just explains why you don't actually want that, you know?
Yeah, because he's fucking weird.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it another time.
Yeah. But Paul Giamatti's amazing in that movie.
Paul Giamatti and Jay Baruchel.
Yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon fame.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your jam this week? What do you got for me? What are you jamming?
Well, did I talk about The Gorge?
Yeah, last week.
Ah, fuck.
You did. You the title of last week's episode is Gorge Monkey. Like,
right.
Yeah, you literally talked about the monkey and the gorge.
I just wanted to make sure I talked about it.
Oh my
but
God.
So have you heard of the show Resident Alien on Netflix?
Yeah.
With
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk. Yeah, I've watched the first season before. I'm rewatching it now.
Okay.
I fucking love how funny that show is.
Okay.
Basically, it's about an alien played by Alan Tudyk who crashes on Earth. The alien's mission was to blow up everybody on Earth.
Invaders him.
He got hit by lightning. And so he lost his device in the snowy mountains of Colorado.
Oh.
Shout out Colorado.
Shout out.
And he basically has to pretend to blend in with this small town in the mountains. It's kind of like Telluride, Colorado. If anybody's familiar with Telluride, it's like a very isolated mountain town, skiing and stuff.
You mean
and
it's not just a vehicle?
Yeah, he has to pretend to be a doctor and also try to, like, you know, find his device and find a bunch of other alien stuff that was left behind before other people do.
Oh, God.
And it's one of those shows where, like, the sheriff is a very elevated person. Like, he's insane.
Wacky.
And his sheriff's deputy, like, everybody's kind of an elevated character.
It's cartoony.
To levels where you're like, yeah, like, honestly, it kind of is. And what sells it is Alan Tudyk, who I fucking love in everything, is so good at playing somebody who's not supposed to be a human. His facial expressions, the way he moves his eyes, the way, like, he is a great physical performer. And he does so many funny vocal fries. And, like,
hell yeah,
there's a kid who can see that he's actually an alien in disguise. Like, there's so many good comedic things in this show.
Oh, so it's like Invaders In for adults.
Honestly, yes, bro. Like,
I mean,
kind of.
that's what it sounds like. It sounds like Invaders In for adults.
It is one of those shows that there's a plot in it where, like, one of the women, she's like, she was a teen mom and, like, she's going through issues and stuff, and, like, her plot kind of drags the comedy down because it feels out of place with the rest of it. But honestly, this is one of those shows you can put on in the background, pay attention to half-heartedly. It's just really fucking fun.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, that's like the only other.
So you got?
Really, because I've been basically binging a lot of stuff for Magnum Opus, trying to get ahead with that.
You've been doing
so I've
work.
watched a lot of.
You've been doing work watches.
I'm watching a lot of bad shit.
Oh my God. Yeah, I love this for you. What a wonderful lifestyle. You get to watch bad stuff forever. So great.
What's your jam?
So I got two jams for you. Well, honorable mention for jams. I said it in the beginning of the podcast. Free Whenever played at the Brooklyn Bowl last night, which is amazing. First off, I forgot we were chilling in the Brooklyn Bowl, which is cool. And as the navigator, I had actually found us parking less than a block away. Props to fucking me. No, so, like, we went to go to this bar called, like, Desert 5 Spot, and then they had, like, a line, and Val was like, no, I don't want to wait in this line. Also,
agreed. Most
of the people, I think we all kind of, like, sized up the people in the line, and most of the people in the line were, like, in their early 20s, and we were like, no, this ain't the spot, man. So we went into the Brooklyn Bowl, and they're like, are you here for the concert? We're like, no. And we, like, you know, there's that awkward moment. You're like, are they going to charge us for this now? Like, are we going to get into the, like, can we get in at all? If they're like, are you here to bowl? And we're like, no.
What are you doing here?
We might be failing this entrance interview.
It's yes or no questions.
No, and then they were just like, okay, cool. Just hold out your right hands. And we got little stamps. And they were like, all right, sweet. So we went inside. You know, I grabbed an NA beer. The other guys grabbed beer at the bar. Obviously, New York City prices suck. It costs like fucking
Yo.
$10 for a water. But we just chilled there, and this band goes up called Free Whenever, and the only way I can describe their music live, if you're listening to it, probably just a vibe, probably just a ride all the way through. But watching it live, they have mics, okay? And you know, like, Odie, you know me well. I see a mic. I see two guys. I can't see the drummer because there's so much fucking dry ice smoke on stage, right? Like, this is the type of band they are, right?
Oh.
So much dry ice smoke that you literally can't see the drummer in the back. But, like, I can see the bass player. I can see the guitar player. I see two mics. Okay. And so we're sitting there, and, like, I can tell Val and I are, like, both waiting for the singer to sing. Or whoever, he looks like the singer. The guitar player is playing guitar, and he is standing with a posture and a closeness to the mic that it looks like he might sing. And then he gets real close to it. And then he pulls away, and the song goes into another part. And we're like, okay, all right. And like, the only way I can describe this is we were being edged by this band who just never fully committed to vocals. Like, there's no singing ever. We eventually, it's like 3 songs in, and we're just talking about it. We're just going, he's gotta sing at some point. He looks
So
like
they
he
don't sing at all?
wants to sing. No, they don't. Not at all. No,
They're
lyrics.
like Yanni.
No, dude, and then, you know, like, eventually we're just like, well, obviously they have the mics, so they can just talk to the audience at some point. Like,
I mean, that's got to be it. Right?
Well,
Did they talk to the audience?
Yeah, of course. But, you know,
Okay.
like, it was really funny because they were like, how we doing tonight after the first song, right? And then after the second song, they're like, how we doing tonight? I'm like, you already asked that, bro.
Bro, you only get once.
You already asked how we're doing tonight. But, like, he would literally get close to the mic and then just back away from and then when he said their band name was Free Whenever, I'm like, they're just fucking with us. Like, this band is just fucking with us as people. And good for them. Good for them. Props to them. That's honorable mention. But my real jams this week, Architects released a new album. Best song on it is called Whiplash, in my opinion, obviously. But it's absolutely banger. Cannot recommend it enough. If you've been an Architects fan for a while, or if you just like hardcore, or like Bring Me the Horizon, or anyone else in that vein, totally recommend. Really great singing. Even, like, I would even put them in, like, a similar realm, like on a Venn diagram as Bad Omens, right? You know, not the same, but similar.
How dare you? I'm just kidding.
Not the same, but similar. Like them, Bring Me the Horizon, Bad Omens. They're all kind of like in that realm. Like, there's, you know, there's some poppier choruses. There's some heavy hits. There's like really great breakdowns. That's spot on. Yeah, and then Whiplash ends with a Gordon Ramsay clip, like just out of context.
I love
Gordon Ramsay clip. Yeah, it's the one where he's like, you look at me. You're not as pissed as I am. You are. Don't look at me. You know, that one. Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to this when I edit. Today.
I highly recommend
the sky, the earth, and all between.
Yes, the sky, the earth, and everything between. In between.
Yeah, in all between.
In all between. Whatever. Who cares? It's great. I'm endorsing it. What do you want? What more do you want? No, really, really good. Cannot recommend that enough. And then I'm not all the way through it, but I do want to throw out a recommendation, kind of like an all-ages, family-friendly film. It's an adventure. It seems really cool. It's on Netflix right now. It's called Suzume. It's Suzume. Suzume. It's about a girl named Suzume. And she like the movie goes from 0 to 100 real quick. Like, this guy's like, hey, I'm looking for ruins. And she's like, yeah, there's an abandoned town up there. And then goes up there, and like there's a random door that opens, and like bad things are coming out of it. And like just there, like she picks up a rock and it turns into a fucking cat. And like, yeah, it's just,
I've seen the previews for that one on Netflix.
Can't recommend it enough. It's been fun so far. I'm only like half an hour into it, 40 minutes maybe, because like I can't watch. It's very hard for me to watch something in one sitting now because I've got a lot going on. But ultimately, I'm finding the time where I can to just enjoy what I can. And even though I'm putting like healthy boundaries on things like, you know, consumption, like I'm trying to read more than I watch now. So like,
Yeah.
you know, my watch time, I do like, and it kind of sucks, but it takes a lot of willpower. I do have to stand up and like go, okay, cool. That's as far as we get, you know, and like kind of commit it to memory and come back later and go, okay, yeah.
You made me remember. I have I watched a movie that I wanted to mention.
Oh, cool.
And I just remembered it because I watched it like almost a week ago.
What is it?
I watched it last Sunday. It's a Netflix movie called Nimona.
Okay.
Voice of
Not pneumonia.
No, not pneumonia. Not
How's
what killed
it
Richard
spelled?
Nimona.
Okay. Nimona.
So this is Chloe Grace Moretz, famous for Kick-Ass Hit Girl.
Oh yeah, she's great.
She's the voice of Nimona. Riz Ahmed, who people would know from Rogue One or the villain in the first Venom.
Oh yeah, Riz Ahmed.
Yeah. Thank you. This is a story about a modern medieval society. So basically like futuristic, but like medieval. So like there's knights that protect it and there's walls, but like it's futuristic.
Is it
in the sense that, like,
steampunky? You mean?
No, it's like
Okay.
actual like more future, like sleek futuristic.
Oh, cool.
And
so like cyber feudalism.
a little
Okay.
bit. And basically why and I'll just briefly mention this. It's a very short, it's like an hour and a half. It's really, really good. But basically Nimona is a shapeshifter.
Okay.
She can turn into anything.
That's Chloe
And
Grace Moretz.
Yep.
Cool.
And a knight who's played by
Riz
Riz
Ahmed.
Ahmed, is framed for the murder of the queen.
Oh.
And so they end up pairing up. But the thing is he was taught his entire life to kill monsters, and Nimona is depicted
She's a shapeshifter.
and
She's a monster.
perceived as a monster. And for one, it's really fucking funny.
Mhm.
But two, why I highly, highly, highly recommend this movie to everybody is the whole movie is, in a way, an allegory for being trans.
Oh, cool.
Because Nimona is a shapeshifter, and she even has a moment where she's like, if I don't shift, I don't feel like myself. And it's there's even a really good moment visually where like there's the trans flag colors behind her, and it's done subtly. Like if
Oh,
you didn't
cool.
know it was that,
Huh.
you like, I recognize the trans flag
Yeah.
for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
So like if you're not, it's for the woke people that are scared of wokeness, it's not shoving it down your throat. It's very like, if you didn't think of it in the sense that it's a trans allegory, you would not see it.
I got
what I mean?
bad news for you, buddy. They're gonna free associate that into trans propaganda regardless.
Good.
They're gonna be like, this movie and Target are the enemy. Also, I'm going to Target
Woo!
later. Alright.
But yeah, it's a really, really good, wholesome, fun movie.
Cool.
I really enjoyed it, and there's a lot of good LGBTQ representation in it.
Oh, good.
There's a gay couple in it.
Good.
Nimona represents being trans, so like really, really good.
Yeah.
And I meant to mention that, but yeah, very, very fun.
It sounds good. Cool. Well, that's it, baby.
You'd like it. You would like it.
But if you say I would like it and you're being honest and you're not just trying to get me to watch some Magnum Opus shit, yeah, I'll watch it. Thank you, everybody, for listening to another episode of the UnPop Podcast. I am Kevin Miner, your Capitan, signing off for us this week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for telling your friends to subscribe. Thank you for going and listening to the North End Podcast with our new friend Ian from Austin, Texas, who I had a great time in the city with yesterday. If you would like to leave us any comments or questions or remarks on our mental capacity or sanity levels, if you'd like us to podcast live at your funeral, send an email to mysecretpoweris@gmail.com. Art for the podcast by Frank Ace. Music and effects by moi. Thank you so much. Have a great week. See you all later. Be fucking nice to people and stop sucking toes, Donald Trump.